Hey guys, welcome back to the Hardcore Ironman series. In this episode we're going to go ahead and try to obtain ourselves the Questscape. This video has been a little bit slow to come out, I apologise, but I really didn't know how to go about editing it, so I have tried to make it with a little clutter as possible, and we'll go back into detail on the bosses that we glossed over in the future. Let's get into it. Falador down, Leviathan down, Duke down, and Whisperer down. Pretty much all non-issues. We did make a couple of mistakes like tanking hits from Cassandre. Forgot to move out of the way. I swear this boss is more difficult than the quest Vorkath, by the way. And we forgot that Whisperer had a freeze mechanic coming out of each special, so we had to TP out there immediately as their melees can hit like a truck. For the final fight, there's a gauntlet of bosses. Forms this guy took throughout your adventures to help him obtain the Elder Horn. First off is the Assassin fight, which is essentially a carbon copy of the previous fight in Secrets of the North. Secondly, Kettler. She follows an attack rotation as stated on the wiki, 2 range auto attacks, spawns shadow clones, 2 more range auto attacks, and then 1 or 2 charge shots. Repeating. The clones will chip you down through prayer, and in order to avoid the charge shots you have to move so there is a clone between you and Kettler, making her one-shot the clone it hits, and protecting you in the process. The charge shot can deal up to 40 damage if it hits you and not the clone. Next we have the Cassandre fight once again. He'll throw vials at you like the previous time, but this time if you get hit it will apply corruption to you instead of venom and draining your prayer. Vials landing on you or stepping on the residue can deal around 30 damage. The reason the residue does become an issue though, if the fight goes on long enough, is the next attack. Cassandre will move to the centre of the room and do a massive shockwave, giving you only a small room to dodge, so cluttering up the middle, like I'm doing right here, is not a good idea, but alas, our DPS is very high, so it didn't cause us the problem. Finally, Perston. Perston will fire out magic attacks throughout the fight while also interlacing some lightning attacks, akin to Sins of the Father and Tombs of a Massacre on phase 4 Warden. The lower her HP, the more lightning attacks she'll do in a row, upwards of 3. I bring a range switch for this fight as not only does it give you more room to dodge the lightning attack, she'll also be summoning portals around the room that spawn mobs, and those mobs will just slowly walk up to you. It's far easier just to cart them around the room instead of dealing with them in any other way. And there is Desert Treasure 2 out of the way, granting us 5 quest points, the Ring of Shadows, which is a decent hybrid ring, but we don't really wear hybrid rings. 3 Ancient Lamps containing 100k combat each. The ability to use the Ancient Rings, which are an upgraded variant of the DK Rings. We'll go into detail on them when we obtain them. And finally, access to the 4 Desert Treasure 2 bosses, which will drop the vestiges for those rings. Now we'll go ahead and whip all of the combat lamps into our prayer, which nets us a total of 300k XP. And brings us up to level 87. It does bring a tear to my eye. Now I'm just going to quickly show off a Duke kill. While having a one-shot mechanic, it is a very simple fight, and you just need to pace yourself as to not run out the moment the eye pops up, as if that does hit you, that will pretty much one-shot you. The gaze will do 101 damage post-quest, so you either need to be overhealed or use the Ward of Arceus spell to reduce its damage by 10%, and maintaining over 91 HP. Personally, I chose to eat an angler once I went below 99, as realistically the boss doesn't do too much damage as long as you're not trolling. Throughout the fight it will get slightly harder, it'll be spawning 2 vents instead of 1 and speeding up in tick cycle. But for anyone playing a hardcore and getting to this point, that really shouldn't be an issue, and it's likely just greeting damage that is going to get you. The 6kc perfect Duke, how does he do it? Easiest boss in my life. Before we get back into the Musper grind, I have just brought my axe out over to the magic tree in Falador. So hopefully we can get the Elite Falador diary out of the way, because I do believe that all of the steps are doable right now. The only thing we have to worry about is the 88 runecrafting requirement, but I think with 3 pieces of the Raiments of the Eye set, we're going to be able to circumvent that and be able to get the Falador Elite diary done. Took far longer than I expected, but there is the, I think, 3 magic routes. Yep, Elite diary task completed. On to the next one. Air runes crafted, Sorrow Brew made, Strange floor jumps. So I was going to go and kill the Elite Black Knights, but I have ran into a little bit of a problem. I do not have the Elite Black armor, nor the Dark Squall stuff, as I am an idiot and I, instead of storing them, just got rid of them. So I'm gonna have to go back and farm that first. So instead I'll just put this back on the back burner and grind out Duke instead, as right now the Musper TP is a little bit more pressing. Surely we won't forget completing the diary. Oh, there we got it. 28kc, we have the frozen tablet, so let's go and put that into our Ring of Shadows. Okay, I think I might just charge it up to 1k. That's just 1 each. And now that we have this tablet, we can teleport to the Gorok dungeon And that'll put us right next to the Musper entrance. Saving probably like a minute per kill. Oh my god, finally. 239 KC. First Venator shard on the account. Hopefully that has opened the floodgates so we can get to the 5 Venator shards before 500 KC maybe. Do we get the back-to-back is the big question. On nobody's lips. No. 93 farming coming through. Still working our way through the seeds that we managed to get from Zora and obviously Musper, but not quite so much. At this point I have been seduced by the Boffer once again, as the Crystal Bow was also very good at Musper, and obviously the Boffer is going to be far better. So we are going to go back to CG, but first what I want to do is complete the last 3 quests on the account. Curse of Arrav, Dragon Slayer 2 and Knight of the Theatre. Curse of Arrav and Knight of the Theatre should be absolute lock-ins, and realistically so should Dragon Slayer 2, despite it having a one-shot mechanic. I just need to not like fall asleep at the wheel. I have a feeling that the Curse of Arrav is only going to be the boss fight at the end that's interesting, so I'm going to start that quest. And if anything pops up, you'll see it. If not, it's just going to be the final fight. Pretty much just had 1 inventory throughout the entire run here. Hopefully we don't have to go and rebank. I did run into the electricity a couple of times because I forgot to put the boots on. But here we are. Let's go see if we can take on Arrav. So I don't think there's too much going on in this fight. We do have to dodge an axe that he throws. I did that one by accident, but that is the one. I think we can unequip our weapon and catch it on the way back, but we don't really feel like doing that. And whenever a zombie spawns, it will leave a venom trail as it walks, and we want to just kill that off immediately. Just like that. And with a Noxious Halberd and whatnot, should be a fairly simple fight, because we are max combat. I do find it funny that these two are just gorming at us. Like, not even like paying attention. Just watching the fight. Could help out the boy Arrav, but I guess not. How? This is probably the last set of zombies that we are going to kill. Hopefully I have enough DPS to skip the next spawn. I will actually kill these. I'm not gonna, you know, hubris is what kills most people. And not paying attention to the mechanics that are going on. This is the first time I've ever fought this guy, by the way. In hindsight, would bring a ranged weapon in the future. Come on, Arrav, just take the damage. There we go. And thanks to Elias, we're out to safety after the fight. And then we should get a decent amount of XP overall when we get through the dialogue. And there we have it. Curse of Arrav complete. 2 quest points. Access to the new fort, which allow us to get the Crush Helmet if we want to. 40,000 Mine XP, 40,000 Thieving XP, and 40,000 Agility XP. Now it's time to go work on a night at the theatre. I really wanted to say a night at the museum, and I couldn't prevent myself. I had to stop speaking for like 3 seconds to reset. Spec her once more, and that should be her death. Wonderful. 20-minute run of entry mode. Obviously, I took a little bit longer because I was contemplating stuff what to do, but out of the way, pretty easy. And what do we get from the chest? And Elite Clue, I'll just throw that one in the bank because I'm not really a fan of doing clues at the moment. And there is the end of the quest. A night at the theatre completed, 2 quest points and 4 antique lamps. Unfortunately, I don't think these can go into prayer. So realistically, I think the only thing we should put them on, because it technically costs money, is Mage XP. We get a cheeky 80,000 XP. And then obviously the next quest is going to be Dragon Slayer 2. So I'm meant to prepare and then we'll get into it. For the sake of brevity, I have cut out the previous fights. I've just made up to the Galvic fight and TP'd out just to grab ourselves a full inventory. We've obviously got our full crystal on and our RCB with our ruby bolts and diamond switch. So we're just going to send it. As you can see, we've got plenty of food to keep us healthy throughout the fight. And with our 99 range and just overall high combat stats, we shouldn't really have an issue here. The only thing that is going to kill us is going to be the spit if it lands on us. Let's get into it. First thing you'll notice is the 4 front tiles. These tiles will not be hit by the bonds surrounding us, and I like to shoot and move immediately, so in case of a DC I have a high chance of moving out of the way of the one-shot spit. Moving into the bombs will pretty much one-shotters, so obviously we don't want to be touching those. And to note, the first phase is the only one where we'll be camping our mage prayer. From then on out, we'll be ranged instead. Sometimes Gauntlet would try to turn your prayers off, you just need to turn them back on again immediately, and also teleport you into melee range. All you need to do is step away. At 75%, the second phase starts. This is the one with the least action. The main annoyance is the addition of a new attack, the Gust of Wind. That will drain your stats by 2 and reduce your run energy by 40%. Thinking back, I probably should have brought a second range potion to be able to restore our stats a little bit better. At 50% we get into another dangerous phase, as this will add waves to the fight. These waves will fill up the ship, leaving only a 1 space gap to squeeze through. The tsunami can also deal upwards of 121 damage like this bit, so definitely don't want to get hit by that. I highly recommend when this is up to not even think about doing damage and just making sure on the right tile to squeeze through the wave. And make sure you actually move through it and don't just stand still waiting for it to move over you, as that is where you are most likely going to get hit by this bit. Lastly, 25%, Gauntlet will move to the center of the ship and start launching projectiles at you that you'll have to move away from. These projectiles will deal 0 damage, but they will lock you in place for several seconds. And on this fight, as we stated before, that is pretty much a death sentence, as you are going to get hit, that's right, by the spit that can one-shot you while you are bound. The main play here for me is to just keep walking around in a circle between each shot that you fire, so that this is just essentially a non-mechanic. Gauntlet will also continue to TP you into melee range, and you just want to move away from the boss. Worst thing it can do is disorient you, and you lose track of the binding, or even worse, the spit. And there's Dragon Slayer 2 completed, 5 quest points, access to the Myth Guild, 80,000 Smithing XP, 60,000 mining, 50,000 in both agility and thieving XP, and now we have the most possible quest points, 321. As you can see, all of the quests have been completed, so now we only have to go and get a couple of rewards from the quest. We're going to go receive our XP, and we're going to receive our Myth Cape, which I do believe is up here. And then we're going to go get our quest cape from the wise old man. We'll pet the dog. I was locked in, I'm sorry. Where's the dog? The dog! Of course we had to pet the dog. I'm interested in honing my skills. We'll send it on magic once again, for the same reason as earlier. Who is the person that teaches me anti-fires? Is it you? Who are you? We now learn how to make super anti-fire potions. We need to go to everyone's favourite place. The wise old man. Can I buy the quest point cape? 99,000 sounds like a fair deal. And then we have access to the quest point cape in the account. First of all, we are going to obviously use the emote. And then we need to go and use it specifically. Where do we need to use it? Lumberage and Draenor? I need to do it in the house. You know, I will do it in his face. I'm better than you, bitch. And there is our first Elite Lumbridge task completed. Adamant plate body smithed. Chest picklocked. Magic log chopped. And finally our water runes crafted. Now we only have to go to HCIM. You know what? We have to go to the diary guy and then we'll go and see what the rewards are. And then we have our Explorer's Ring 4 and our Antique Lamp. We're going to put that XP into rune crafting. The other rewards from the Elite Lumbridge Diary are as follows. The Explorer's Ring 4 will allow you to replenish full run energy 3 times a day over just the Hard Diary's 50% restore, and you'll be able to high alch 30 times a day without runes over just the low alch from the Hard Diary. You'll get a 20% discount on items in the Colour Romancer's chest, steal twice as many Cave Goblin Wires in Dorgish Khan, unlocks the 7th block slot for Slayer tasks. But the very best thing is being able to use Fairy Rings without the need of a Drahman or Luda staff, saving an inventory slot for a lot of grinds, but also making it so that you're not standing at a ring thinking, why can't I use this? Oh yeah, I left my staff in the bank. Lovely stuff. After 10kc of Vorkath, I decided that I wanted to go and chill out a bit after doing some high octane gameplay, so to speak. So I'm going to go do some Kwambwans and hope to get a fishing level, or maybe even 2, because now we can teleport to a bank and straight back to the Fairy Ring via the use of the quest point cape to speed up these runs a whole heck of a lot. And 30 minutes into it, there is our 93 fishing. Now we can obviously boost with our Dragon Harpoon to get to the Mauritania requirement because we have 96 right there. But for now, I think I'm going to stick around and keep doing some Kwambwans. I'm currently 1.1 million cooking XP away from banking 99, and that shouldn't take me too long, roughly about 8 hours. So I'm going to stick around and get that out of the way. We won't be seeing another fishing level in this, but any XP getting as close to 99 is welcome. That's all we have time for in this episode. It's always nice to be able to have the quest cape under the belt, as it does have some decent uses, and hopefully in the future we'll come back to the DT2 bosses and start to grind them out a little bit. And that's all we have time for in this episode. In the next, we're going to go ahead and change our setup a little bit for the Musper grind, as the melee setup just wasn't tickling my fancy, and find ourselves a better way to get back to the boss a little quicker than using our Weiss House TPs. Massive shout out to Walter for being our ladle, and a big thank you to the Big and Little Spoons for supporting the channel. If you wish to be a part of this list, please join the channel down below for the appropriate tier, or subscribe on Twitch to become a Big Spoon. I love you all, and I hope to see you in the next one.